Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Rindy Eckert's Toy Box Live. This week, streaming from California, tonight featuring Paul Drescher and Joel DeVell. And here is Toy Box Live.
Hey, everyone. We're essentially in the orchestra pit of a new piece that Paul Drescher is doing the music for with Joel DeVell. And I'm adding a third orchestra member to that group for the Margaret Jenkins Dance Company. And this is basically our orchestra pit. It's actually above the stage.
We're well above pit level.
Yeah.
Above the audience.
This is Paul Drescher. That's Joel DeVell. And we're going to play a few things for you that we've been working on that will probably be in the piece eventually. We were sidetracked for a little bit there, and we've had to change our plans slightly, but here we are. Welcome to the Toy Box. Well, I forgot to turn on my microphone, which is, once again, the toy box reveals its sordid underbelly, incompetence. This, we're going to do a little thing, Joel and I, and I don't know, do you have anything to do on this one?
I don't remember. I'll find out.
This is a little text from Breathing at the Boundaries. I've been kind of thinking of myself as this kind of custodian who's sweeping up in an empty building where the offices are all empty. People have fled and are working at home, and nobody's there. And he's all alone. And at a certain point, he walks in and he sees his reflection in the window, and he starts checking if he's there. It's almost like he's worried that he might disappear himself. So we'll do a little of that, and then we're going to go into another piece featuring that Hurdy Grande, which is an invention of Paul's. So, but first, let's do this one. Joel, can you help me out?
Sure.
Face, hands, check, check. Legs, arms, check. Fingers. Yes. Home here. Empty office. Check. Waste baskets. Empty. Check. Reflection in the window. Mine. Check. See? See? I move my hand and the hand in the window. Check. I'm all here. This is my skin. This is what it feels like to be touched. This is the floor under my feet. This is me reaching. This is me watching myself move. Remembering there was someone, an embrace, me and someone, just saying hello, an embrace, nothing more, nothing significant, but an embrace, an embrace. Arms, hands, check, legs, fingers, check, check. All here, all here. Thank you.
We should make it that way in the piece.
I know. I like that. We're still rehearsing, of course. That's the whole point. You want to talk about the Hurdy Grande, and then we'll play that piece.
But maybe Joel should say something about what he's playing.
Oh yeah, let's Joel, can you do that? Can we? Well, you can't. But
I can sort of talk loudly, I think.
yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. I hope you can hear Joel.
The marimba lumina, so obviously I can play different parts of this and that. Hard to explain all the things I can do, but basically it's a mallet controller, like marimba, but with a lot more craziness. So that's the simplest of it. That's the simple way to explain.
Cool. And the Hurdy Grande, you want to just here? You can speak into my microphone here. It's actually on.
So the Hurdy Grande is an Ivana musical instrument. It's a little hard to see probably in this cluttered environment where we're working now. It's almost 10 feet long, but the salient feature of it, most people have heard of a hurdy-gurdy, and a hurdy-gurdy is a medieval folk instrument that has a unique feature from any instrument in the Western instrument inventory, which is that it has a hand crank that bows strings when the strings are pushed to the wheel. It has a rotating wheel, and so here there's a wheel. It's on a motor in our case, so we're not so medieval now. We're in the 20th century, and this wheel is turning, and when I press the string to the wheel, the string gets bowed. And that's its only connection to a traditional hurdy-gurdy, but I consider that substantial, and because it's so much bigger than a hurdy-gurdy, we call it a hurdy grande.
Cool. All right, we're gonna.
What are we doing? We're doing this piece.
7/4.
With a non-metered introduction. Oh, okay. Maybe I'll have to remember it. We've done this like dozens of times. Not dozens.
Yeah.
Well, not in this order.
All right, gentlemen. All right, behave yourselves. All right, that's the toy box for this time. Stick around. We're gonna, if you want to ask some questions about all these instruments and
How do we hear the questions?
Pilar will figure it out.
If you could put your questions into the chat, please, I will unmute you.
What can we do here?
Just to raise your hand
Push this mic over towards Joel and me.
Yeah.
while they set up their.
Open call here.
Yeah, we're still here. I asked everyone to throw their questions into the chat, and then I can unmute them, and we can have the questions that way,
Cool.
as we usually do in the Toy Box.
Yeah.
Hashtag Toy Box Crazy Times.
Let me just unplug the headphones here from this. Now, I wonder if I can hear through the speakers on this guy, but
we can hear.
We can hear from this.
We can hear from that. Yeah.
So.
And I've got this mic up, and I brought up both mics.
Yeah.
That's great. Can we start with a question from Will Pomerantz, even though he did not volunteer? I'm volunteering him.
Hey, Will.
Hey, I'm happy to ask a question. That was great.
Oh,
What happened?
Let me just change the dynamics here. I'm going to just change.
Rindy's messing with the speakers to make sure he can.
I'll get this figured out here. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
Hold on. We're getting there. MacBook Pro speakers. All right, should be good now.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How about that?
That's great.
All right, we don't need this anymore.
So, hey, listen, I was curious since I was asked, but I am curious. Is this the music that we heard is part of the soundscape for this piece you're making with the Jenkins Dance Company, right? That's what the Sonic World, or is that true?
Yeah, so certainly the last sort of section that you heard when I was playing the Hurdy Grande, that's very specifically going to be part of the piece. And
Beautiful.
the thing that we did first, where we were kind of playing a quasi-Indian sort of drone thing where Rindy was on accordion, that's sort of a version of what we're going to do. We're actually going to do it in a different key and with a different accompaniment.
Different tempo.
Different tempo, yeah. But
everything's different.
Otherwise, exactly the
Other than
same.
the fact that everything's different, it's really quite similar.
That was beautiful.
I'll be playing guitar. That'll maybe be the similar thing. And Rindy will be playing accordion, we think.
Right.
And
Oh,
then the text that Rindy did, that is part of the piece too.
oh, great. Well, the music seems really makes, it's very evocative and you really want to move to it. I mean, just sitting here listening. So I'm sure the dancers must love it. And it's really a treat to hear it. So thank you.
Yeah, they're really fantastic. It's amazing to play with them.
Well, when this event is streamed, maybe Rindy, you can announce it to your Toy Box list.
Yes, it will be. It was announced already to you guys, but of course we had to change the date. So the date is, so keep on the lookout for it. It should be fun.
And can I have a follow-up question with you?
Yeah, you're allowed.
Okay.
For you, Will, anything.
All right, all right. And that's just the development of the music and how that works, whether in parallel in that kind of Merce Cunningham kind of way, or is it really, you know, done together? This market, how's that work?
It kind of works lots of different ways. So sometimes so when we agree to work together, we each start developing material independently. The dance is working on the dance, and we share concepts and themes of what the piece might entail. In this case, it was a prompt by the poet collaborator Michael Palmer, the Vitruvian Man, the Da Vinci sort of drawing of a man in a circle and a square. And that was just sort of a touchstone that some material grew from that, and concepts of symmetry and things like that. But also we're obviously dealing with COVID right now, and the idea of breath and the preciousness of breath was also an important touchstone for all of us. And then we work independently, and then I give sketches to Margie and the dancers, and they share videos with us, and Rindy's writing text and making his own responses and coming up with a concept for his character. And then we come together for rehearsals, and then we start to put those two together and we test what we think. That by that point, Jenkins has usually said, you know, this music really is working great for this section. In this case, there's two compositions that were pre-existing that were actually recorded by the amazing cellist Ashley Bathgate, and one of them has a pianist, Lisa Moore, also from New York. And the dancers are dancing to those fixed scores. But then a little more, then the other half of the piece is what Joel and I work on together. And then now we're integrating Rindy into this. And a lot of it we're working on in the rehearsal room. So kind of hit it from lots of different directions.
Great. That's wonderful. Thank you.
Lori, you're up.
Oh, hi. Beautiful, beautiful work, guys.
Thanks, Lori.
Thank you.
The instruments are fabulous, and it's so wonderful to watch you play them. I have a friend, Rob Schwimmer, who works with a keyboard.
Oh, yeah, I know Rob.
Right, there's a place theremin, right?
A keyboard
Plays
called Continuum.
Theremin.
Continuum, and I'm wondering if, because of the capabilities of the marimba, I wonder if the marimba that you're working with, Joel, are they related in some way?
In some way, there's a relation in that this is using radio frequencies actually on each mallet. So each knows,
really? Okay.
So it knows what the red one is, not because it's actually hitting it, but because it's a radio frequency. So it actually knows that it's not. See, the red one makes the bass sound. The yellow one doesn't. Gives me flexibility. So in that way, they're related because there's sort of a wireless element. But in other ways, they're not at all.
I mean, in a sense, they're related in that theremin was really one of the very first electronic musical instruments. And particularly, it was a gestural instrument. It wasn't just a trigger that you turned on and off, but it actually tracked physical gesture. And so, and a lot of what the inventor who initiated this instrument, Don Buchla, created, he was also very interested in maintaining a performer control of the triggering of electronic sound. So in that sense, they are very closely related. One is a very elaborate manifestation of an idea that started with Leo Theremin, but has now evolved in many different directions. And Don Buchla was an inventor who created a number of different controllers, of which Joel is the main purveyor of some of them and is extremely adept at performing them and repairing them when called upon.
Actually, when Don applied for the patent, there was a lot of Theremin's patents came up.
Right, because it has something to do with electronic
They're
gesture.
relatives.
Right, yeah, they're relatives for sure.
Related technologies.
Cool
But he was
question.
working on, well, Theremin worked on a lot of technologies other than just what the instrument that you know.
Right.
You know him
Yeah.
famously for.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have a question for Paul, Joel, Rindy? Or shall we call it another great night in the toy box? Be sure to tune in to mjdc.org to get all the updates about Breathing at the Boundaries with Margaret Jenkins Dance Company and this fine trio. We'll be sending out news over Rindy Eckert's News, and be sure to follow Paul, Joel, and Rindy on all the socials that you love or hate, depending on your feeling about social media.
Thanks for visiting the Toy Box once again.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
Thank you.